This entire military is one cohesive, dedicated force. And the threats to our nations, they don't sleep. They're watching our every move. Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, ISIS, Al-Qaeda. They may be watching this right now. Our military should not be mistaken for a cable news gabfest show. We don't care what you look like. We don't care who you voted for, who you worship, what you worship, who you love. It doesn't matter if your dad left you millions when he died or if you knew who your father was. We have been honed into a machine of lethal moving parts that you would be wise to avoid if you know what's good for you. We will not be intimidated. We will not back down. We don't want war. But if you want war with the United States of America, there's one thing I can promise you, so help me God. Someone else will raise your sons and daughters.
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Welcome to the From Pain to Purpose radio show. I am your host, Eva Fulton. In this show, we explore the incredible journeys of resilience, healing, and transformation. In each episode, we will sit down with individuals who have faced unimaginable struggles and turned their pain into power, heartbreak into hope, and their challenges into meaningful change and finding new purpose in life. Through candid conversations and inspiring stories, we will uncover how pain, whether emotional, physical, mental, or spiritual, can be the catalyst for profound growth and a deeper sense of purpose. So if you are looking for motivation, insight, and real stories of triumph over adversity, you're in the right place. Let's get started on this journey from pain to purpose. Let's give veterans a voice through Military Broadcast Talk. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the From Pain to Purpose radio show. I am your host, Eva Fulton. Today is Saturday, May 23rd, the year of our Lord, 2026. And I'm going to start this show off with a dedication for this show. And that is because for those that are not aware, we lost one of our MBR family members on Thursday. This was at a time when I was actually hosting a Memorial Day ceremony at the office where I work. And I felt this extra emotion while the show was happening. I don't know the time of Kiara's passing, but I definitely felt the presence of something not going well. And that I found out yesterday morning. And so I'm going to acknowledge that I'm in my feels today. It's been a struggle. I've been, getting things ready to, for an announcement I have to make. And I've been getting things ready and my mind's been a million places. And I tried calling Kiara. I tried calling her a couple of months ago and I didn't get a response. And that's tough. I have a couple of friends that I've lost now and that hurts. And I want people to know that there's a reason for our shows. There's a reason why Military Broadcast Radio exists, to give veterans a voice. That's why the Revivalist Radio show is so very important, because there is hope. There is the moral healing that can come from the moral injuries that we all experience. And I don't care whether you were in combat, whether you're not in combat, whether there was some other trauma event that happened during service, before service. There is hope out there. There is a listening audience for you, and your life matters. And I know that there are a lot of people who think that Memorial Day is the day where we crack open the beer and pop open the barbecue pits and have the barbecues. And I'm not saying you can't do those things, but that is not why we celebrate it. Say it's even the vernacular, right? We try to say celebrate uh Memorial Day, but it's really about honoring in Memorial Day and saying their names. My own personal dedication is also to my uncle Bethel. He was Bethel McMillan served in the army. He served in Vietnam. He came back physically, but did not come back emotionally, spiritual, and mentally. He was not the same as he left. This was a man that I grew up. Dad would go pick him up. Uncle Bethel would, bus in, and Dad would go pick him up. He pretty much grew up as a I saw him when I saw him as I was growing up. When he came back, I saw him as a hobo. And dad would get him. He'd have his duffel bag full of clothes. That's literally what he carried his stuff in. Mom would give him a haircut, much needed haircut, much needed shower. And I'd say loosely, we'd get him fattened up a little bit. He would relax on the couch for a couple of weeks, get his clothes washed, maybe a new pair of jeans or two, and he'd have to hit the road again. Where all he went, I don't know, as far as California, catching the trains. And as I posted earlier today, I'm pretty sure I was the last person to see him in the streets of Austin, literally in an alleyway. My friends were bidding me farewell as I was switching from reserves to active duty. They were giving me a send off on 6th Street, walked me to my car, and this man in the alleyway ran up to me, and I screamed, got in my car as fast as I could, and what I remember him literally saying was, "Oh man, I only wanted to give you a hug." And that haunts me that I didn't recognize my uncle, who was homeless in the streets of Austin. And my aunt finally found his burial site through an online page. He was in an unnamed marker in a pauper's marker in Austin. And we made the vigil as a family several years ago, and Dad had built him a special marker. So he died as a homeless man in the streets of Austin in his car. And, the only presumption that I can really make was that he froze to death. This was January. Even in Austin, it gets cold. Um, so that's what this show was dedicated to today. I know it's a bit heavy, but I don't want us to miss the target about Memorial Day is about. So sorry to start it out a bit heavy, but I'm very honest and transparent about my feelings. You guys know that. And if I can't share my own struggles, then how am I to expect anybody else to be able to share their struggles, right? Um, so that's part of the foundation of making this a from pain to purpose story and why we tell things. So in case y'all didn't hear my announcement on the Revivalist radio show, I am driving back to Texas next weekend. So I'm really excited. There's a pain to purpose in that as well. Our office moved farther away, which created a 2-hour, 45-minute, on average, one-way commute into the office. And I'm very proud of myself, where I spoke up for myself and I asked for a reassignment to move back home. And so I'm very pleased with that. I'm tough to, it's tough because I've been staying here with my dad, so I'm not going to be able to stay here with him. Although I think there's a little bit of hurrah from him that he gets his space back. Love you, Dad, but I know you want your space back. But I want my home back too. So I've already put the warning order out for my kids. You better get the house clean because Mama's coming home. so, uh, so, anyways, I just wanted to put those announcements out. That's why there's not going to be no show next Saturday unless I happen to jump on a live. I am going to be in a campground somewhere, probably with very little to no internet. Anyways, that's why I couldn't have a show last week. Thank you, Jose. You said yes, that's awesome. Going back to Texas. Hallelujah. Going back to Texas, where we are a little bit freer there than in some of the states we have across the country. So yes, I'm very, very excited. Actually, will pick up in my step. And thank you all for being so patient with me. If you wondered why I've been a little bit in the doldrums the last couple of months, it's been because this extra commute has just been wearing me down, and I've just been literally exhausted. And I think the wait was the hardest. Do I sell? Do I rent my house out in Texas? And if anybody's been to my house, you've seen it's not. I'm very blessed with the house that I own. Um, and and if I sold, I was going to have both of my young adult children who live there become homeless. When dad passes away here, I was going to end up becoming homeless. I work for an agency that is supposed to be about housing. So it was a tough request to put in. What is the right solution? Do I become homeless? Do they become homeless? And it just was, this was the best option. Let me move back and have less commute. So anyways, I'm very, very thankful about what I'm getting to do. And I just feel very, very blessed that things are working out this way. So thank you all for the prayers and support. That if I've reached out and you knew what my struggle was about, then you know why. So anyways, enough about me. I will have some more things at the end that I will be adding. And I want to, guys, I say I stalk people, but I really, I watch people and what their stories are. And not everybody has the perfect story right now to tell, but sometimes that's where this is an awesome platform to give a veteran a voice because they are going through a struggle. And I watched Leroy's posts on LinkedIn, and believe me, we will be sharing his LinkedIn. He's phenomenal. He's encouraging, and I can't wait for y'all to hear what his story is. But let me read you a little bit about his background. I'm going to get the nerdy glasses on, so sorry, I can read this. He is, so Mr. Leroy, Big P Pinkney, and apologies, I didn't put the C in there when I typed it. Sometimes I do this on the bus, and I do it without my glasses. I'm sorry. He has an MAOM, is a senior operations executive, combat veteran, published author, and founder of, I'm going to give us some credence for you there, Lead Like a Lion, a leadership brand built on the belief that the best operators in the world come from the most unlikely places. Raised in Harlem by his grandmother, Christine Green, Leroy enlisted in the Army in 2001. This graduated as a distinguished honor grad from quartermaster school, deployed to Camp Anaconda in Balad, Iraq. I need to put you in touch with some other folks too, Leroy, because I was part of Operation Anaconda, the scuba trip with a nonprofit. So just so you know, I recognize the name Anaconda. And he's done a lot. He's led some operations at Kohl's, XPO Logistics, Fleet Pride, Amazon, Copeland, done a lot with Amazon. And in March, he's going to go into his story, but in March, he was laid off. And in April, he published his first book, and he's got a newsletter, and he's doing amazing things. He's also a Texas veteran. So, without further ado, our interview of the week.
The interview of the week is brought to you by Jersey Mike's, a sub above.
Welcome, Leroy. Welcome to the Paid to Purpose radio show.
Thank you for that very good and amazing introduction, Eva. I am honored to be here. Before we get started, I would just like to say, to piggyback off what you said, reference Memorial Day. It is a time for reflection. And a time for remembrance and understanding of our brothers and sisters at arms who are no longer with us. And so, while it's okay to enjoy the weekend, we need to keep the mind frame of what the weekend really entails. So, I just wanted to lead with that.
Exactly. It was not a hard reach out to you because I know you made a very vulnerable post when that happened in March, uh, but you haven't whined and cried about the situation that you've been in. You you flipped this as an opportunity to your narrative, right? That you didn't let it control where your destiny is. So I don't know. I'm going to turn this over to you, and you share what you want folks to know, because I just have just been very encouraged about your story. So feel free.
Absolutely, and thanks for that. So, I want to start at the beginning, obviously. So, born and raised in Harlem, as you spoke to, was raised primarily by my grandmother, and she was a fervent believer in grit and determination and hard work and not giving up and taking care of your family. And she instilled all of these principles in me that helped to propel me through a lot of the trials and tribulations that I had to endure in not only the layoff recently, but in multiple facets and segments of my life. She allowed me to, or instilled in me the strength to be able to persevere through those things. And fast forwarding to the past the military experience to Amazon, I believe that's what allowed me to thrive in that environment. As you can imagine, that is an environment that is super intense.
Yeah.
It is super stressful and 65, 70 hour work weeks. And some of the things that my grandmother used to constantly, harp at for me and instill in me, allowed me to drive through that. And fast forwarding to the layoff in March, I believed it to be. I mean, no one's going to sit here and say, "Hey, it was pieces and cream." Right? No one enjoys a layoff. It's
No,
not. It's not
it's
something
not
very
fun.
comfortable at all. Right? And so, uh, what I chose to do is lean into a lot of the things that she told me and a lot of the things that I've learned from leaders past that I've been engaged with in starting Lead Like a Lion. And some of the DMs I get super encouraging. I just got one this morning from someone who really appreciates a lot of the information that I am providing. I believe there's a number like 600,000 people who have been laid off recently, a lot from the tech sector as myself. And so just wanted to provide a platform for people to be encouraged, to maintain their motivation even in their downtime, and take the lemons and make lemonade. It's very important to not wallow in that mentally because it can be very discouraging. And we all have people that depend on us to be the best versions of ourselves. And so we need to, whenever we can, try to lean into taking a bad situation, turning it into a good situation.
For sure. Something I don't talk about very often. I was laid off twice. Once from Lucent Technologies in Garland. No, that was Mesquite. We were bought out by Tyco, and then one of the subordinate companies was why am I brain cramping all of a sudden? Um, it's another tech company, but I got laid off from them a year later. Avaya, that's what it is. Avaya. I got laid off from Avaya. I was pregnant. And I was like, man, I didn't get out of the military thinking that this was going to be the life that I was going to get. Getting laid off back to back twice. We started a construction company or cleaning company and then a construction company. And so self-employment became, it felt a little bit more stable, even though then the, construction industry kind of went south. But that was it's very tough feeling like your livelihood is in somebody else's hands and you don't get any control, but there's that whim that, well, sorry, you don't have a job anymore. So have you developed a rhythm for what you do? Because empty space is a place for time, especially. How have you adjusted the time of what you do where you would have gone to work? I say that because finding a job is a full-time job in and of itself.
It is, and thanks for that question. It is very much so a full time job. However, I believe with the creation of this platform of Lead Like a Lion, it has allowed an audience that I would not have had exposure to originally to experience me and my background
Yes.
and my understanding of true leadership and my understanding of what it takes to take a middling operation and put it into a stratosphere that it has never been before. And so I'm having amazing conversations with vice presidents of operations with companies and super senior operations, I guess you could call them, and site leaders, all of these big leaders who are getting to experience me that would not have been
Oh,
able to do so before.
wow.
And
So are
so,
you starting a consulting company then? Maybe that's
so
what you need to do.
yeah, so I do have Iron Lion. I do have all of my contact stuff, and I'll make sure everybody gets that. But I do have Iron Lion Consulting that is at the ground floor right now, and formulating things in the background before launching that. But definitely have been adept at going into buildings and being able to look around corners for opportunities for operations to be better and operate more optimally.
Yeah.
And another thing that a lot of leaders really don't take into account, and it's something that I hang my hat on, is people, right?
Yep.
Because you can't manage from behind a desk. You have to be in the fight and see what's happening in your operation. And full encompassment of that is your people. You have to be able to talk to your people. You have to be able to motivate your people, train your people, develop your people, have them operate in your absence, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Were super important. And so I'm formulating Iron Lion Consulting, and that's something downrange that we're going to lean into a little bit and try to get into some of these companies and help them establish these type of principles that I talk about day to day.
Well, you and I gotta talk because, I know that you're working. You started a new journey as well. So the educational journey. I'm officially welcoming you into the doctoral cohort of things. It's definitely going to change your thinking. I finally launched my study earlier this week, so that's something I'm going to share a little bit more at the end of the show And it's a great journey to go, and it's going to change. It's going to, I think, help fine tune some of that thinking. That's going to help you be able to navigate the consulting world of things. And I definitely, if you don't mind, I'm just offering my expertise on things as well. Some great articles that I've read. Because, I work in the federal government, and there was an article that I came across in when I was going through my MBA at Dallas Baptist University. And it's an article. I'll share it later. The link. I'm sure I can find it while you're chatting. Then this next segment, but it's called "Changing the Deal While Keeping the People" by Miss Rousseau, and we're in what I'm guessing like stage 3B right now in the federal government. I shared that with some colleagues of mine over at Department of War, and she was like, "Oh my god, this is it." When you can see where things are in change management, but how the leadership, if everything's always driven leadership down, there's also a place to be able to get leadership driven from the bottom up as well. But we as mid managers have the ability to help with that communication and solicit some of the feedback from the people that can deliver some ideas for streamlining things into operations at the senior level. So we do have a role to play, but it's really that engagement and in participating in finding the solutions and the streamlining of things. So I don't know. It Have you found any other articles that speak to that as well?
No, I haven't recently ran into any articles in this ilk. However, I would like to state that I'm already beginning to work on my dissertation piece at this early stage. I haven't even started the program yet, but I have a very, I have a very good idea about what that's going to look like, and it's something along the lines of military veterans transitioning into the civilian sector, right?
Yes,
And numbers around and data around how impactful we are in corporate America, and some data around how, in some ways, we might be better equipped to deal with corporate America. And so I believe it is going to be a very interesting dissertation and very interesting. I have a lot of leaders that are interested in leaning to and providing info for that. So looking forward to definitely creating.
I think you'll do great. Denise Rousseau, it was the lead author in this. I'm just letting people know I'm dropping that information in the chat for you guys. For some reason, some of the links it's not going for some reason, but I'm trying to make sure I share it. So here we go. A show Changing the Deal While Keeping the People by Denise Rousseau, Edward Rodolphi, and John Hayter. So what university are you going to?
So I decided to go with Liberty University.
Okay.
They provide a lot of benefits for veterans that I'm able to lean into. I looked into a couple of programs, but I believe that I'm best equipped to deal with Liberty University at this time.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I think I looked at them. I looked at one other one, but I was looking for public administration, and that's how I ended up with North Central University. They rolled their doctoral program into National University. So there are not very many universities that offer, uh, the DPA. But I'm getting a PhD in public administration. They have a program down at UT Austin, and also I think UT Arlington and Dallas and UNT, but but they wanted you to physically go to the class, and I have been staying at my dad's here in Maryland, so there was not a way for me to physically attend in Texas. It just was not possible. So I got what I got. But fortunately, as a 100% disabled veteran, I have not had to pay for the education. But I'm paying it forward. We're both paying it forward, you know?
Yes, we are. Fellow
Yeah.
100% as well. So
Yeah.
absolutely. That's one of the greatest benefits that the military offers us. Besides the VA home loan, obviously the chance to brighten ourselves and become better versions of ourselves educationally. So definitely, really, really, not only proud of my service, but definitely happy that the military provides that resource for us to use.
What wanted to show, I'm going to share my screen. I wanted to show folks the you have had some really neat posts on LinkedIn, and a lot of people could y- you know there's different ways to use LinkedIn. It's not the same as Facebook. There are some people who try to post on it like it's Facebook, but you don't do that. I don't either. I have very different content. Only sometimes when it happens to kind of cross over do I, uh, post the same content, but I usually word it a little differently. But I just wanted to show some of the content that Leroy uses on LinkedIn, and he's just very it's I love the way you approach this because you're putting these things into bite-sized pieces. And even reading this is what you posted 4 hours ago. It's Saturday, and while most people are scrolling, I'm building. YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok, the newsletter, the app. Every platform, every week, consistent. Not because it's easy, because I made a promise to myself the day I got laid off on a Tuesday in March that I would not waste this season. So I turned the pain into content, the experience into a brand, the setback into a full operation. Lead Like a Lion is live everywhere now. YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, and Lead Like a Lion, the Lion's Den newsletter, the Pride app, all of it built from scratch while job searching, parenting two kids, and refusing to quit. If you've been waiting for a sign to start, this is it. Go subscribe, go follow, go build. Links in the comment. And if this hits you today, share it with somebody who needs it. This might be one Tuesday away from their own launch. I love, I just love how you haven't taken this as a kick in the teeth and you decided to shrink. You've done everything but shrink, Leroy. And I'm just
Absolutely.
really proud of you. I just want you to know I am really, really proud of you for not allowing yourself to shrink and think, well, what's next then? I mean, you didn't. What's next is in what worse is going to happen, right? Trouble comes in threes. You like, oh no, I'm flipping this around. I'm changing the narrative, and you are charging like a lion.
Absolutely. And thanks for that, Eva. Yeah, I can't sit here and say that every day is cupcake and rainbows. Obviously, we are human and we deal with adversity a little bit tougher sometimes. But I, I am the type of person with the grit and the dedication that I have and has been established in me not only from my grandmother but the various amounts of amazing leaders that I've worked with throughout the years will not allow me to wallow in my sorrow. Uh,
Yeah.
I feel like it's an opportunity for me to turn it into a positive and help as many people as I can. There's another couple of posts that I made opening up my LinkedIn platform to people looking for to connect with job uh, employers and hiring managers. And one of those posts went viral on LinkedIn and helped over 5,000 people connect with hiring managers, and
Wow.
right? And so it's something that not only did I want to use for myself, but it's something that I also wanted to use to help other people get themselves reestablished and not sit in their pain. Because we can't do anything for anyone if we are mentally not able to be tough and be resilient and drive forward from a downturn in life.
Right, right. You've got so many followers now. Man, I barely have 3,600. That's crazy how you got this. You did so good,
Thank
man.
you. Yeah, thanks a lot. I mean, it's just a lot of. I think the major connector with a lot of followers that I have on LinkedIn is the fact that I'm providing value, right?
Yeah,
I'm not asking them for anything, right?
right, right.
Other than maybe a follow here or there, or a comment here or there,
You have
but I'm adding value.
28,000 followers on LinkedIn now.
Yeah,
That's
it's
incredible.
approaching 29 really quickly too. So
Wow.
yeah, yeah, it's just about adding value and helping people, improve their situation, and that's something that I've not only in the warehouse, but as a soldier and as a captain on football teams and all this other stuff, always been there to try to help people become
Yeah.
better in every way I can.
Yeah. So what kind of job do you want to do now? Have you decided, or if somebody contacted you for a position, what kind of position are you looking for?
Thanks for that. Good question. So I've been contacted by a litany of people, a litany of people. But I've always been the type of person to be family first, and sometimes I think that might have led to me taking roles that didn't really fit, or maybe they fit my skill set, but maybe I just took them just to fill a blank.
Yeah.
And now I want to be super intentional about the next role that I take. I want to be super methodical. And not just hop into something just to hop into it.
Yep.
I want to get into an organization where I can work at scale, like I did it at Amazon for 5.5 years, and improve.
But not 60 or 70 hours a week or
No, no,
some
no.
crazy
And that's
amount. No,
and
you
that's
need work-life balance and being there for your
literally.
boys. Yeah.
Literally, and it's and that's part of it too, right? Like, it's part of the intentionality. Like, I want something where I can spend time with my family. I have younger children. They're not too young, but they're not older,
Yeah.
right? And there's evening activities that I need to attend for them,
Yeah.
and so that's part of the intentionality. And I have had a myriad of job offers all over the country. Um,
Wow.
but I just can't move right now. I just bought
Right,
my
right.
house. And locally, having some really positive conversations with some organizations. And so we're going to let that process play out and see how it goes.
That is awesome. I'm so excited for you. My word for this year is intentional. So you're saying, and you get it.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
We can't just go willy-nilly, squirrel here, squirrel there, and living life. Sometimes I do that when I'm hiking, but
Yeah, I do that in my gym too. Like, I just wing it sometimes.
right?
Yeah, so I get it.
But we do have to make intentional steps in our lives, right? I mean, I think after service and even jumping into the education arena again, you're going to have to be very intentional with your time because it is critical, right? Time's going to be critical to read your homework and time to write. One of the things that I developed was I didn't turn the computer on Saturdays. And I know that may sound weird that I mean, that was my work life balance. I was working all week long. I didn't mind reading the homework at night, the reading portion of the material. But then I would Sunday, I would sit in front of the computer. I'd go to mass and then I would sit in front of the computer all day long doing the homework because I needed that 1 day break to not look at the screen, to not turn the computer on and just, yeah, I'd use my cell phone a little bit on Saturdays, but I learned to be very intentional and getting the household stuff that needed to be done, getting, things prepped for the rest of the week so that my mind could be focused on Sundays. And I'd come out and take the dogs, let them out and do their stuff, fix some food, but you're going to find a schedule that works for you. This is just that, try to find that rhythm that works for you and make sure that you don't overdo one thing in the area because your sons are still going to need some attention, and maybe you're going to have to turn it on for a couple hours while they're still sleeping late because they're teenagers. I'm just throwing that out there. Figure out a schedule that'll work for you, and posting your content as well, because that now has probably become a part of your identity. But I'm gonna sow a seed, and maybe you want to become a radio show host. So you should just kind of changing how you do the content.
Understood. I'm keeping all of my avenues open, not closing myself off to anything, and try to be as impactful as I can to help as many people as possible. That is an ultimate goal of mine.
Yeah. So what do you think is going to be your plan with the doctorate when you finish? How do you want to use it?
So good question, and thanks for that. So I would like to not only lean into my personal brand more using it, but whatever role that I take next, definitely would like to use it to lean into how I can streamline things better at the senior executive level.
Okay.
Also, it was something that I told my grandmother a long time ago that I probably would like to do at some point in my life, is to pursue a doctoral. I didn't know at the time it would be a DBA, but
Yeah.
uh, definitely something that we discussed in my younger days. And so I have a lot of things that I would like to. I mean, I think my kids would be pretty proud.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, my significant would be pretty proud of that accomplishment as well. And so there's a myriad of reasons why am going to conclude this and bring a culmination to my education.
That's exciting. So mine started when I was working on my master's, on my MBA. I went through voc rehab, and my case manager, Shalonda Taylor, works for the VA. Well, she's a director now, but she was my case manager back then. And part of my original plan was, because I wasn't sure how my physical side was gonna play out, being sick, and because I suffer from Gulf War syndrome and just have had some knee issues, back issues, and whatnot, injuries from the military, that if I had to change what I was doing and couldn't do a full 40 hours a week, that I could pivot and become a professor. So that has been a long time goal since that was 2008. So almost 20 years I have been working on this plan. I hate saying it. Since we're in 2026 now, I'm finally almost to reach this and maybe retire in a couple of years from the federal government. I don't know how much longer I will be a federal employee, but at least for a few more years. I'm not ready to retire yet, but it'll be a great pivot opportunity to be a professor. I'm sowing that seed with you because I could totally
Absolutely.
see you being a professor, and it's not a bad gig, and it helps pay for the kids' education as well too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I could definitely see myself in a large arena with 200 students talking about
Yeah.
leadership and development and self-awareness and emotional intelligence and all of these things and all of these principles that I've applied and put into myself. I
Yeah.
could definitely see myself uh, cascading it out to many young and impressionable minds. Definitely.
It isn't it crazy how we learn some of this lingo in school, and then you think when you're just learning it that you're just you're kind of like half memorizing it and half trying to absorb it, but then you start thinking about it and you're in some of the roles you're like, well, this is the theory of, this is, oh, there's that framework that ran across, our whole lingo changes.
Absolutely, a lot of it is applicable as we matriculate through life. These things become more
Right?
prevalent, and yeah, and definitely, I definitely appreciate the few brain cells I had and in that space to be able to retain a lot of the things that I've been able to retain.
I figured, but the way, Leroy, the way I kind of calculated was no matter what my physical body was doing, I always wanted the mental side to be sharp as a tack. And that has been probably one of my biggest struggles with the cognitive function skills. Not because I fell off the turnip truck, but that I think the brain fog that was caused by Gulf War syndrome, and I've had to take a lot of supplements and vitamins to get where I'm at today. There's this lull that I went, I think, from a mental acuity and being able to remember stuff. I still have the word finding problems sometimes, and a little bit of, I have headaches. I get migraines every day. And so that's why I don't do early morning shows if I can help it, because I just don't function well very early in the morning. But by the time I've gotten to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm on fire
Ready to go.
until it's time for my bus commute time. And okay, where's the seat? I'm ready for my afternoon nap.
I completely get it. I like we spoke to off camera. I lived in the Montgomery County area for a few years in several different towns and worked in Northern Virginia. So I am
You
very,
get it.
very aware of that commute. It is a beast
It's
of a
brutal.
commute. It
Brutal
is
is the word. Yeah, it's
absolutely.
brutal.
It
All
is
right.
much so.
So we have about 5 minutes because I do have to close with a couple of things, maybe about 5 minutes. What's one question? I usually like to end my interviews. What's the one question I should have asked you but didn't ask you?
That's
Something
a
you'd
good,
like to
yeah. That's a good question. Good question. Thanks for asking that. So, I think the one question that I would have liked you to ask, and it probably would have taken a lot more of the show, but I'm glad it went the way it did. I want to preface with that, but leaning a little bit more into the Harlem upbringing, and then
Okay.
the decision to move from Harlem to the military, and what drove that. I think that would have been a really impactful question.
Well, tell it. Well, I mean, and by the way, I need to connect you with my buddy Jose. So Jose grew up in New York City area too. So yeah, I got to
I
connect you with my buddy Jose.
absolutely, definitely looking forward
He's
to
the
connecting.
motivated mindset show right after this. So
Okay,
you can watch Jose's show. So you want tell
awesome.
us a little bit about that. What motivated you then to do, to I think what you're saying is you joined the military out of Harlem, right?
Well, it was a bumpy road in between, but yes.
Okay.
So the initial driver for so I grew up in Harlem, New York in the 80s, and as
Okay.
you can imagine, there was a lot of opportunity for me to not pursue the path I pursued. There are a lot of my friends and people that I grew up with who chose a different path, and it didn't end up so favorable for them, right? So, but my grandfather, he was my grandmother's boyfriend, and he always used to say, and I can remember this as far back as 8, 9 years old. And that kid would he'd be a great soldier. He'd be a great soldier. He'd be a great soldier. Heard it so many times, and it resonated with me. And he passed on, unfortunately. But the resonance continued, and I went through and got my associate's degree from Mitchell College, and went back to Harlem, and the resonance just came back. And so at 27 years old, I made the bold decision to enlist. And I enlisted in the Army at 27, and served 4 years, one combat deployment. um, so to sum up, the voice of my grandmother's boyfriend just resonated with me. It's something I need to do. And also, it was a real opportunity for me to leave New York City and see a lot of the world, and be able to travel. I've been to 47 states, so in multiple countries. And so it allowed me to broaden my horizons, and be able to see a little bit more of the world. So that's pretty much a high level what drove that decision.
Okay. Um, that's incredible to, understand some of that when you're at a young age as well, and trying to make some choice. I think your video is frozen though. Not sure.
Uh, can you hear me still?
I can still hear you. I'm just letting you know that your video is frozen.
Oh, it's not
Um,
frozen. It's not frozen on my end. I don't
okay. Well,
understand.
that's sometimes it happens, not sure. But I'm also getting some breaking news that I was asked to share by our producer. So I'm trying to get that pulled up. Well, Leroy, thank you so much for joining the show. I'm going to connect you with Jose and get you on his show as well. I'm really encouraged by your journey. There you go. I can see the head nodding again. So, uh, so you're incredible. I would love to be able to connect with you in Texas as well. Maybe we'll get me, you, Tracer, and see if we can get Josh to meet up with us, and we'll go do lunch, and you can meet some of the MBR family. And oh, and if you're not on North Texas Veterans already, feel free to join on that Facebook group.
On
I
Facebook.
started that in 2018 because I knew that veterans in the community needed resource. We need to connect with each other. And so that might be a great opportunity for you to connect with some other veterans in the DFW area as well. So thank you for being on the show. I'm going to, folks, go ahead and switch to I'm going to try to pull this up. I think yep, getting it shared the screen on here. So hold on. I got to change pages. There we go. So this is an event that is happening in uh this is at Fort Collins, Colorado. It's the Liberty 250 event in Veterans Plaza of Northern Colorado. It is happening this weekend, May 22nd through 25th. It's free and open to the public. Hopefully y'all can see that. Yeah, there you can see it. And we'll share that out through the social media as well. Looks like a great event to attend. I can't see the rest of it, but there is a little bit of information in there. I'm trying to see where. It says Fort Collins. Sorry, guys. I don't have the glasses on. Go to Veterans Plaza noco.org. www.veteransplazanoco.org. That's November Oscar Charlie Oscar.org. Veterans Plaza NOCO Okay. The other couple of things that I wanted to share, I have a QR code for my study. It launched earlier this week. If you missed it, I'm going to read a little bit about this. So, if you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and read. My name is Eva Fulton. I'm a doctoral student at National University. I am conducting a study to utilize Freeman's stakeholder theory as a conceptual context to explore the unfulfilled needs of at least 25 to 40 modern day female combat veterans who served in combat roles to determine the public administration policies and programs needed from the United States Departments of Veteran Affairs and other veteran program providers. That could be both all at the federal, state, local community areas, nonprofit, for profit. In order to participate, you must be a biological female, as in an executive order number 14168 in 2025. You're eligible for VA health care or released from the military more than 5 years ago. That could be retired or discharged in whatever capacity. Served on active duty in a designated area, received combat pay, or earned a combat specific award such as the Bronze Star, the Army Combat Action Badge, or recognized combat related campaign service medal. Live in or located in the vicinity of Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, North Texas area, which is served by the Dallas VA, or live in or located in the vicinity of San Antonio, Texas area, and served by the San Antonio VA. The following survey questions about the demographics of participants mentioned above regarding eligibility requirements, along with some questions related to lived experiences after getting out of the military. These experiences would be related to public administration or policy that affects us as female combat veterans. It'll take approximately 5 to 10 minutes of your time to complete the eligibility survey itself. Your participation in this study is voluntary. If you decide to participate, your responses will be anonymous, that is, recorded without any identification, identifying information that is linked to you. If you have any questions regarding this survey, please contact me at e.fulton2496@student.nu.edu, or my cell phone number is 817-690-6349. And if you have any questions regarding your rights as a human subject or participant in this study, or to report research related problems, you may email the National University IRB at nu.edu. Guys, this is important. Ladies, I should say, ladies, this is important study for us because nobody asked us about what we need as female combat veterans. I need participants, please. This is a really important study because our needs matter and we need to communicate our needs. And this is how we're going to do it. Texas has the highest population of veterans in the entire country. The highest population of female veterans is in San Antonio, then is Houston, and then it's North Texas. I'm returning back. My home is in North Texas, so that's my vested interest in making sure that our voices matter. Trying to hurry up and switch now to I have no show next weekend because I'm moving back to Texas. Scott Ressler, he is Mr. Abogain King. That's what I'm calling him. June 6th, he will be joining us. On June 13th, Paula Kemp is joining us. She's going to be talking about military sexual trauma. And she's an author, lots of information. Hopefully, my friend Todd Watkins, he's also in the doctoral journey, will join us June 20th. No show June 27th. I'll be in Florida with my good friends Ann Maker and Jose. We are participating in the VA Golden Games. And so we will recap the VA Golden Games on July 4th. And then that following Saturday, Jose and I will probably be live from Maryland because we have our camp that we're doing. So lots going on. Thank you all for joining Military Broadcast Radio, the From Pain to Purpose radio show. Y'all have an awesome week. And remember why we're honoring Memorial Day. Love you all. Be blessed and goodbye.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.